So we're all recording. We're recording. We will be doing a webinar. So should we just get going, Mark?
Yeah, let's just get into it.
Awesome. Okay. So this presentation is your Amazon problem solver. We're going to show you how to beat suspensions, fix negative reviews, flat file errors, basically all the stuff you don't want to do in your seller account because it's the worst stuff. What we'll be going over today: how to fix three of the most critical problems we commonly work through at Seller Candy, and stay on to the end because we're sharing lots of resources. Throughout, we have the chat, which should be open. Feel free to try and post something in the chat now while you're dialing in from, so we can figure out if it's working or not. Hopefully it is. And yeah, just chime in if you have any questions. So, just quickly about where we view Amazon as Seller Candy in the industry. Amazon should never be about running around in circles after seller support to fix what should be small issues, which completely ruins your focus and takes away your focus from the big picture. Shouldn't be about having too much on your plate, so you don't have time and energy to train staff. And it shouldn't be about not knowing what to outsource first, because that's just wasting time you should be spending on growing your business. We believe it should also not be about waking up in the morning and immediately fixing problems you didn't cause, not about grinding 24/7, or creating some kind of secret marketing tactic, It's usually just the fundamentals. And it's also about not having some complicated hiring and training process so you can employ an army of 25 VAs. So, what you're going to learn today, you're going to learn how to leverage expert assistance to create time and space in your Amazon business. You're going to learn how that can help you position you as the owner rather than the operator in your business. And no, you should know, we're going to share exactly what you should and should not be doing yourself in your Amazon business. Trying to make this a bit bigger. I just had a baby. My brain is no longer working and I can't see small text.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Still 6 months. He's just not sleeping. All right. So finally, we'll show you how to grab an expert who knows exactly what you need and can suggest it even before you know it yourself, or at least when you know it yourself. So a little bit about me. I'm founder and CEO of Seller Candy. We've served over 500 clients. Before that, we were sellers. We sold a few million on Amazon and then sold a bunch of consulting. I've run Amazon businesses for the last nearly 10 years now, actually. I should update that. And I get to speak at conferences because of this, just a long time. I also got to meet my wife and move to Vietnam and do a lot of personal development and Tony Robbins stuff, which is my side project slash passion project before the baby. Now, baby takes up everything. He is all consuming. So let's get started. So what we're going to go through first is solving issues. So we're solving seller central issues effectively. So faster, more efficiently, without setting up intricate systems or grinding them yourself. So it's a Monday morning. You wake up, hopefully 9 a.m., probably 6 a.m. And it's a performance notification and it's a suspended listing. And we all know, now he's out of retirement, who's behind those suspended listings, don't we? It is Jeff. Right there, suspending your listing, clicking all those buttons. So this is exactly about how our agents go about solving a listing suspension. So immediately upon seeing a listing suspension, what we do, we raise a case. This sounds very benign, but raise a case and ask support what they believe it to be. There's reason behind this madness. We'll go use that later. But once you've raised the case, write down your case ID because you're going to need that later on in this process. Then you want to raise another case asking Amazon to enable your category listing report if it's not already enabled in your account. And what the category listing report is, it's an amazing flat file, feed file for all of your listings. So which will allow you to make edits even when your listings are locked or suppressed. That's a way of being able to edit. As you can see here, once it's appeared, it'll appear in your inventory reports under open, under category listing report in that list of reports just there. So once that's done, you update your category listing report, then upload. So you delete your current content from your category listing report, which is everything, sanitize it completely. 2, you replace the content with generic terms, like an explanation of the product, if that had a T on it. So this is a green widget. It's boring, and there's nothing special about it because these are all the things we want Amazon's bots not to find, so we make it as generic as possible. And three, you upload it as a bulk file and you note down the bulk file reference number. So you note that down. Then now you have your case ID and you have your bulk file reference number. This is actually the slightly shortened version of the presentation, which is good because we don't have as much time anymore. So then you then complete these initial 5 steps. This is the first step, actually. I skipped that one. Step 2, if it's an authenticity issue, it's not a product policy issue, you need to locate the invoices for the product you sent in. You then have to annotate these invoices. Like imagine a 10-year-old is doing this job who just has a tick box to do. So you have to like draw a box around it in red with an arrow pointing at it, and that's the product you're saying, and then write why it's different. Because I assume, maybe it does, but your invoices have a slightly different name on them than your product because nobody usually names their product on the purchase invoice the same as they'd name their Amazon listing. So you just have to link it across so Amazon realizes that that's the problem and that's the product. Then upload it to Amazon so they can see the source of the product to see it's not fake, not faulty. All right, this is the top 5 issues. That was issue number 2. Issue number 3 is an IP violation. So if you get an IP violation, you get an email from the brand owner. That email will contain an email of the brand owner who complained about it. You then use that email to email the brand owner and ask for clarification, like what happened, why did I violate, what happened that I violated your IP, what can I do about it? Here you have to track all response. So the reason for tracking all response is quite often we get IP violations that weren't necessarily in good faith. And if it's not in good faith, then they won't respond to you. So you've got to track all correspondence to show you've been trying to reach out. And if the brand owner doesn't respond after 5 attempts, raise a case to Amazon using the evidence that they haven't responded so they can remove the violation. Because, the whole point of this is to help sellers. And if nobody's responding, then it's in bad faith that they raised it in the first place. So, step 4, product safety issue, not produce. Prepare a plan of action and appeal. So you've got to review the issues raised by Amazon. So first, if it's a product safety issue, review the issues raised by Amazon. 2, you've got to create a plan of action to address these points, even if you don't think they're valid. So one thing I often say to the team at Seller Candy is, do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? Like, do you want to make money or do you want to be right? We want to make money. So we just have to follow this formula, which is we accept the issue, even if it's not a real issue. We accept the issue. We tell the steps taken immediately. So usually that's a bin check. We requested a bin check to check this issue doesn't affect any other units in Amazon's warehouse. And 3, plan that this will never happen again. Like we've organized an additional check in the factory to make sure that won't happen again, even if the initial issue was Amazon sold a return. Because, there's nothing we can do about that, but at least now Amazon has a plan of action they can put on their file to tick the box that they've seen a plan of action. We then upload that in a response to the case, and we're all set. We've got everything ready to go. And finally, the 5th one is hazmat. So who here has had a hazmat issue before? You got to check for hazardous ingredients. So you should know if your product has a hazardous ingredient in it. If it does, you should have a safety data sheet already. If it doesn't, then you probably don't. So if it is, upload your SDS, which is safety data sheet from your supplier or your own testing. If it's not applicable, then you've got to search Amazon in the search bar at the top for the SDS exemption sheet in the search bar, complete the sheet for your product category, and upload to Amazon. It's pretty that simple, and they should just unrestrict it. It's not, this one's not rocket science, but the first time you do it, you've got to find the right sheet. So what if this doesn't work? I mean, I'm sure quite a lot of you have tried this before. It doesn't work, but why doesn't it work? Well, if it doesn't work, the first thing you need to do now is to delete the listing and then re-upload. So you delete the listing, you wait 24 hours and you re-upload. And here it's when it can be scary for people the first time, because when you delete your listing, it doesn't delete it from Amazon's catalog, it just deletes it from your account. So you won't lose your reviews, you won't lose your sales history. You just have to delete it, wait 24 hours, then re-upload, and that's supposed to refresh the listing on Amazon's system, according to Amazon. So, but what if you're still having issues, even if that doesn't work? Well, here's where the time investment comes in. But because of the steps we've just followed, we have just saved ourselves like 2 weeks. So you call up Amazon. You say, "Hey, Amazon." And they say, "Hello, sir." From the Philippines, probably, or Costa Rica. And you say, "Okay, I got a problem. This is the problem." They say, "Okay, great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to raise a case to get some support from that right team." And you say, "Oh, no need. I've already raised a case. Here's the case ID number when I raised it 2 days ago when I did step one that John told me about." Right, okay, cool. Step two, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bulk file upload for you to try and update the listing so that it might work now. You go, touche. I've already done that too. Here's the bulk file upload number from this when I did it in step two. They go, "Oh, okay. All right. Well, foolproof plan. What we're going to do is we're going to delete the listing. We're going to wait 24 hours and then we're going to re-upload it again." And you go, I already did that. As you can see here, it's been deleted and re-uploaded. They go, "Oh, my list of stuff to do is out. I'm going to have to put you through to the leadership team or escalation team or whoever can actually solve the issue for you." So you can stay on the phone and you've done all the bits they would have done originally and taken a week and a half, 2 weeks to go back and forth in cases because cases are slow. You've done all the main stuff already. So our goal is to help you accelerate that. There wasn't a magic pill and we didn't slip them any $100 bills. The goal is that if I can tell them exactly how to solve the issue, they can follow my process rather than me having to go around in circles following their badly defined process. So here's a breakdown of the process. One, you download the category listing report, Amazon's flat file. Two, you make edits to create a clean version. Three, you delete, wait 24 hours, upload, and then you just call them over and over again until you get the issue solved. So process, if you like infographics, take a screenshot there. All right, so we're flipping the issue resolution process on its head. How about another? Yes, no? It's so
Do
quiet.
it.
Do it. All right. You have an unfair bad review. What can you do? And we all know who's on the other end rejecting your hard work, don't we? It's Jeff. He keeps coming
Love the
back.
picture.
You like the picture? Yeah, it's from The Economist. I stole it many years ago. Pete Ryan, still credited. So this is exactly how our agents go about removing bad reviews. So there are two types of way buyers leave review. Just to summarize, so everyone's on the same page, you get seller account feedback on how the seller is treating the customer, and then you have product reviews that can be seen on the product detail page. So seller feedback, sorry. How to remove that? Pretty simple. You log into Seller Central, you get a performance feedback, and then you request removal, which is just here. The reason I'm highlighting this is that used to be that you could remove everything. That was really easy. Now, not quite so easy. So you can remove anything that's not based on something you did as a seller. So if you're filling stuff yourself and you're FBM, then naturally you do quite a lot as a seller. If you're FBA, the only thing you do as a seller pretty much is customer service. So as long as you haven't given someone terrible customer service, all the rest of the stuff can be removed, like FBA shipping, anything that violates Amazon's guidelines, any kind of product review, that doesn't count because it's not to do with you as a seller. Because as a seller, usually Amazon was designed that sellers resell other people's products. So having a review for some Nikes on your seller account makes no sense. So if Amazon refuses to remove the feedback, do not let the case close. Transfer it to your assistant so they can follow up. Or if you don't have an assistant, you are your own assistant. So keep the case open and don't let it close. Otherwise, it takes much longer to remove. You have to actually dispute it, which is boring. Okay, so to remove a product review, here's the process. First, you can report abuse if you want to. Here we go. Whoop, picture's coming up in the wrong order. So there's a report abuse button. You can do that on the listing. Where it was it helpful to you? No. But if you report abuse, you have to stick to Amazon's guidelines. So you can't just make stuff up. You can't just go around and report every review as abuse because that's fraud and Amazon will suspend you for fraud. That makes sense. Two, you can contact seller support. So you can do that as a support case, do it product reviews just there. You can take a screenshot of this template, use this template, but just add all the information you need. And yeah, that's about it. The best one, if you're a brand owner, you can now get the order ID of the person who left a bad review, and you can send them a message. Emphasis being a message. So it's just one, so you better write a really good message. And you can't ask them to do anything like change the review. So just got to have an amazing message, write it. I'm sure that everyone has their own favorite AI assistant that can help them write something that's manipulative and will help the person change their review. Okay, I've been talking very, very fast. John, so now you've told me how to fix some of the hardest to solve issues in my account, but what if I have technical problems during the update? I don't know, John. What about technical problems during the update? So, you have an error code on your flat file, how to get unstuck. And we all know who's behind error codes, don't we? No,
Do
it's
it.
not here. I didn't use this one. I'll set you up. So here's the secret source for this. I didn't have time to make a beautiful slide for this. So what I did was I just found the top 12 error codes and I took our SOP at Seller Candy, I PDF'd it and I put a QR code. So this is the best thing that I'm sharing during this presentation. Well, maybe not, but this is the coolest resource. So all you have to do to solve a flat file issue is to download the attached document, check it, run through the steps, and celebrate you finally got flat files to work because you can use our process. Beautiful. So, for example, here's an example of a process. Don't know why I put it here because you can read them all in the attached document. But yeah, if you happen to have if you have a child SKU already assigned parent SKU issue right now, then you're in luck. You can just take a screenshot. So, does this help? Yes, it helps.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes,
Good.
somewhere.
Well, sorry, that's the joy of doing a webinar, isn't it? You nobody can see. So, does this help? Yes. We're missing a slide here. So, the ethos we have at Seller Candy, which I missed two slides in the middle, is that assistants must be experts. The next section of this presentation is about how to actually get the team on board that you need in order to get somebody to do this for you. Imagine there was two slides there about that. And the answer to that is that assistants must be experts because if assistant isn't an expert in what we've hired them for, they're only as good as us. And the problem is we hired them to help us, and now we're training them. So there's a catch-22 here that we need to upskill ourselves, or we have to find someone who's already skilled more than us, or very, very quick to learn more than us. Otherwise, we are in a catch-22 of just expanding our own capabilities and taking on more responsibility ourselves, as opposed to delegating responsibility. And I think we can all agree that we want to delegate responsibility as business owners, not just increase our capacity until we collapse under the weight of 1,000 suns. So, when people look for expert assistants, they might go to Upwork, they might go to Fiverr, hopefully not. They might go to Indeed, they might go to a Monster. But the problem is, when you go there, you end up with an employee. And when you hire an employee to serve you, you're constantly asked for guidance, problems don't get solved, you can't trust them to take care of your livelihood. So you check everything they've done, which wastes your time. And that just wastes time, money, hiring and training someone who isn't going to get the job done. It's just a waste of time to do these small things, which are supposed to be small, but actually require a very high level of technical competence to get done, which is assistant-based tasks, which is all opportunity cost at the end of the day. The reason you'd work with us, work with SellerVue, or with anyone is to reduce opportunity costs so that you can actually spend your time on what you want to do instead of making spreadsheets or doing admin. So you need someone who can reliably take care of the busy work so you can focus on growth. What is the busy work? This is a lovely review of Amazon seller support from I don't know where this is from. Is it from one of those general review sites? Diabolical, sign up for ulcers, worst service ever. It's great. If we had company reviews like this, we would be out of business.
It turns out if you have reviews like this, you have a
Make
trillion-dollar
trillion
organization.
dollars. Yeah, I'd like to make $1 trillion. Maybe we all need to get worse. Stop listening to the customer. Listening to the customer as the seller is bad for business. Love it. So the real question is, how can you get the team that you need without hiring a full-timer who knows your business? Like someone who knows it inside out, you train them for a year, and then you go, oh, they got a better job offer for double the money up the road for another Amazon seller because you spent all your time training them and this other guy's got more budget. Because I've seen that happen before many times. People spend all the time training and then another seller has, well, just doubles their salary. And how can you access real experts and still have it be affordable? Our answer at Seller Candy is experience and numbers. You need access to a larger, well-paid team, which is usually larger than your business can currently reasonably afford, but at the right price. Why it's good for you? Because you get access to a team of real experts with deep understanding of Seller Central processes. You eliminate the need to do all the hiring, training, sourcing, which actually costs a lot, usually like a third of someone's yearly salary. There's no need for oversight, so you can get the trust the work gets done right. And it's totally scalable. Because if it's a larger team, you just take on more capacity from that larger team. That's section two. And then section three, how do you know what to give these people? Whether you've got a team, whether you've got an assistant, how can you pinpoint the high impact areas to improve and pick up money that you're leaving on the table? Good question. The way that we do it at Seller Candy and the way we teach is to do an Amazon Seller Central gap review. And this is the same thing that we've done for a long time, but I'm going to share with you the process we follow now. So gap review evaluates all aspects of your Amazon presence and provides you with logical steps you could take to smash your revenue goals and gives a fresh perspective and unbiased view of what you're doing now. Then at the end, lets you know which change is going to make the biggest impact at the fastest time for the lowest cost. So first we look at the current state. By current state, we mean look to the Seller Central backend, what's currently going on, what are the settings, where are we sitting? Is there anything wrong with those settings? Two, looking at listing errors. So is there any problem on the listing? Are there any broken links from to your storefront? Is everything linked with, for example, child variations? They're all on one listing. It's amazing how many things you find when you go through if you've got a bunch of listings. Three, marketing. Are all your campaigns properly optimized? Do you have a bunch of old campaigns wasting money? Is everything working right? Two, four, buy box suppressions. So most people who've got a large SKU count, end up with a few buy box suppressions. They just don't realize. So even if the product is live, they don't have a buy box. It's see more offers. So what's going on? Why isn't the product getting the buy box? Account health issues. So looking through voice of the customer, return rates, these things creep up on you if you're not careful. So reviewing them. And expansion opportunities. Is this product, do I sell sombreros? No, I can't say that, can I? Do I sell this product and it's not available in a market that it might be highly in demand? No assumptions on what people like in what market. Maybe like cheese knives in France. But yeah, is there demand and I should be expanding there and selling there because there's a huge market opportunity. So we've got that. We go through this entire list, and on this list, everything that we see, we put into a spreadsheet. So we list everything out, every opportunity, just A to Z, list it all out. We then go through and rate impact. So how much difference will this actually make? We can rate on a scale from 1 to 10. Look at each element section from element 1, point by point. Evaluate what's going to make the biggest difference if change and how much impact that's going to have. And take the stress out. So to take out the stress out of knowing what we should be working on. Because we're actually looking at it from the viewpoint at the top, not just from inside the business. What's the closest fire that I need to put out with my fire extinguisher? So 3, cost time analysis. Then we evaluate the amount of time it's going to take to fix or improve something. Approximate how much it's going to cost to implement that fix. And check that against impact, because there's no point throwing time and money at something that's not going to make a big enough difference. So, if it's a 10 impact, but it's going to cost you $10 million, depends on your budget. Which brings us to the final element, which is priority. So we're looking at the list and we prioritize. What should we be working on right now? What's going to make the biggest impact for the lowest time, cost, and effort? And this is the same process we've been using to help consulting clients make profitable decisions for the last 5 years. And you can steal it too, and you can use it too. So when you use the gap system to review your Amazon presence, you get a fresh perspective. You get steps which you'll take to where from now, which will take you from where you are now to where you want to be. And this can make a huge impact on your business if you just follow the plan. Like the goal is always to follow the plan. And I do a lot of business consulting. And you'd be surprised how many good operators out there who say, I love to follow the plan. I can deliver amazing results. And then I ask them for the plan, and they go, I used to do plans for other people, but for myself, I don't need a plan because I am the plan. Yeah, without a plan, don't get anything done. So we've only had 40 minutes today. I know it. We actually had 35 because of the lateness of me. Sorry about that. And how would you like a personal one-on-one session to review how you might be able to apply this to your business? Whether it's actually solving a problem, like a technical issue, or whether it's looking at how you would apply the gap review or getting a team on board. So I'm opening up 12 slots with the Seller Candy team today, and we can talk about anything. It could be a technical issue, could be your team, or anything that's going on in your Amazon business. Last time we did this, we found a suppressed listing that had been suppressed from search for months and cost tens of thousands of dollars in sales. And the seller had given up because he couldn't figure it out. Another seller, I think, had like what $7,800 worth of missed inbound shipments that we found, and we helped him get that back. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. We always find something and money that sellers leaving on the table. So I'm sure that you have of revenue leaving on the table, and we're going to find it for you if you book in one of these sessions. Normally, these are $497 a session, but for the first 12, you'll get it for free. What's better than $497? Free. So if you want one, there's a link in the chat, and go and check it out. It's with Kelly off our team. He is amazing. And yeah, he will sit with you and literally go through your account and figure things out. Please don't share this outside. This is literally just for this webinar. And I'll know if you've shared it, maybe. So yeah, that's about it. And do you have any Q&A? Any questions? Anything, the issue you're having with your Amazon seller account right now? Anything that's driving you crazy? Anything that I can support with or Mark can support with? Maybe you have a SellerVue issue.
Hmm.
I know if you're watching this as a replay, imagine that you can talk to me and send the email to john@sellercandy.com or book a call in through the link, which will also be in the replay email. I see you leaning forward, Mark. Do you have a question?
I don't have a question. I was just waiting for one to bump up here for you.
Ah, no, it's all right. So, Alan, Barry, Gabrielle, Jay, John, Fred, Bill, Mark. Any questions, anyone? All right. If you are writing a question, I'll give you 30 seconds in case it's a very long question. Otherwise, I think that we are potentially done.
That was
Thank you.
awesome. That was great.
Thanks. I went through a little bit fast because I'm making up time.
I
Uh,
always I love this stuff because I think as sellers, I mean, I'm a seller, and I developed SellerVue, because of, my business and what I needed, especially around financial management and just being more profitable. But like this type of stuff is like all the stuff that like us as sellers
mm,
shouldn't be doing. You know, I always talk about like the sorry, the left brain, right brain stuff. The right brain is all the fun, creative stuff. All the left brain stuff is all the tedious stuff that kind of sits on your desk as like a box, and you know that you need to do it. You just like, you just don't want to get to do it. So you just like, let's just let it build up and build up. But like all the stuff you do is just like allowing sellers to do more with their time. And like what we do is help sellers be more profitable, you know, so they can spend more time driving revenue and
mm,
keep more of what they earn. This just basically gives, sellers more time to do the things that they should be doing, not all
mm,
the stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
Hmm. Cool. You should
Yeah.
sell a candy for us. But yeah, that's exactly what we do. Love
Yeah.
it. All right.
Tedious
Well,
stuff.
thanks, Mark. Thanks for hosting. Thanks for organizing. Thank you everyone who's come here, and we'll see you all again soon.